Let's talk about goals. You know, that gap between where you are right now and where you desperately want to be. What's the one thing that closes that gap? It's not just talent, and it's definitely not luck. It's this powerful and honestly often misunderstood connection between our dreams and the discipline it takes to make them real. So today, let's walk across that bridge together.
So let's start with a big, fundamental question. Think about any major achievement you can imagine. Somebody starting a business from scratch, running a marathon, writing a novel. In every single one of those cases, what's the one non-negotiable ingredient that takes the cool idea, a dream, and makes it real? To figure that out, we have to start with the foundation. We've got to define the very structure that holds up every great accomplishment. We've got to define the bridge.
And here you have it. The answer comes from the legendary business philosopher Jim Rohn, who said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." That one sentence, that single metaphor, that is the key to everything. And let me tell you, it is so much more than just a nice phrase. It is a blueprint for getting things done. You know, this completely reframes how we think about discipline, right? It's not some kind of punishment or restriction. Forget that. Think of it as a construction project. You are building the solid ground right under your own feet, one plank at a time, so you can walk confidently from the land of I wish to the land of I did.
Okay, so if discipline is the bridge, how in the world do we actually build it? Well, that brings us to the process. And here's a spoiler. It is not about one giant, heroic leap. It's about the patient, steady work of laying small bricks, one after the other.
I love this African proverb. It just captures the whole method so perfectly. A bird doesn't just find a nest, right? It builds one. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens twig by twig, piece by piece. Now that is the very essence of disciplined action. And what's great is that this proverb gives us an actual plan. So look at step one. It's not build a giant nest. Nope. It's just gather one twig, one tiny, manageable action. But step two is crucial. You have to place it with purpose. This isn't just being busy for the sake of it. It's focused, intentional effort. Then step three, repeat. That's where the magic happens. Consistency is what turns all those tiny actions into something big. And then notice step four, the nest just appears. The goal becomes the natural, inevitable result of the process.
This brings us full circle, right back to Jim Rohn's big idea. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. This really just demystifies the whole thing, doesn't it? Success isn't some complex secret hidden away. It's about mastering this simple, sometimes boring stuff, day in and day out.
But here's the catch. All that disciplined action has to be aimed at the right target. Tim Ferriss famously talked about this, focusing on being productive, not just busy. And you can see the difference right here. Busy feels like you're spinning your wheels, you put in the hours, sure, but you're not actually going anywhere. We've all had those days. Productive, on the other hand, that feels like you're gaining ground. Every action is intentional. So the question you have to ask yourself at the end of the day is not, did I work hard? It's, did I make progress? Okay, so let's get real for a minute. No journey is ever a perfect straight line. The reality of building your bridge means you're going to face storms, you're going to have to deal with setbacks, and you're going to have to navigate all of that external noise. When you hit a roadblock, it is so easy to feel like you're the only one struggling. But this Cameronian proverb is such a powerful reminder. Challenges are universal. The rain falls on every single roof. Setbacks aren't a sign that you're doing something wrong. They're just a sign that you're on the path. In fact, even Albert Einstein would argue that mistakes are totally essential. If you're not making any mistakes, you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. They aren't failures. They're just data. They're proof that you're trying, and they are the price you pay for innovation. So, how should we react when we stumble? Well, another brilliant African proverb gives us the perfect mindset shift. Do not look where you fell, but where you slipped. Think about that. If you only focus on where you fell, you're just staring at the failure, the outcome, the embarrassment. But if you analyze where you slipped, now you're looking for the cause. And that is what leads to learning. And that is what leads to real growth. And the other huge obstacle, it's noise. The doubt from other people, the endless stream of advice, the criticism. Steve Jobs warned us about this directly. Building your bridge means you have to learn to listen to your own blueprint. You got to trust your own inner voice more than the roar of the crowd. All right, so you've laid the foundation, you've built it brick by brick, and you've made it through the storms. So what happens now? Now you get to the final stage, the transformation. Because this was never just about what you achieve, it's about who you become along the way. Man, I just love this proverb. Patience can cook a stone. Just let that sink in. It speaks to this incredible, almost unbelievable power of sustained, disciplined effort over a long time. The thing that seems impossible, the thing that seems totally unchangeable, it will eventually yield if you just keep applying that consistent, patient pressure. And this, right here, this is the ultimate payoff. You don't just show up at your destination one day, no. The very process of building that bridge, the focus, the resilience, the daily discipline, it fundamentally changes you. The real prize isn't the goal at the end. It's the person you had to become to get there. And that transformation, it creates what Dan Kennedy calls a magic power. Self-discipline stops being a chore, and it becomes this incredible source of strength. It's the engine that makes you resilient, focused, and, yeah, virtually unstoppable, no matter what comes your way. So in the end, that bridge is yours to build. That discipline, that magic power we've been talking about, it's already inside you, waiting. So the only question that really matters is the one right here on the screen. What will you build with your magic power?